Hey y'all, it's y'all favorite cozy girl, She the Reality Queen, and I am back again with another episode of Robe Chronicles. Tonight we're going to be talking about Married at First Sight, Season 16, Season Finale, Part 3, Episode 22. I don't really know what's going on. And I have never not wanted to follow a bunch of people after Decision Day more than this season, but here we are. Honestly, if we were going to follow people, I wanted to follow, I want to say season 14, when Zach and Bao ended up dating right after Decision Day, like for real, not like all these fake ones I'm about to get into, but like they for real started dating and he cheated on her too. The madness. That was a season I wanted to follow after Decision Day. Like, this idea is late and it's on a bad season. That's what I personally believe. So this episode starts off, honestly, I don't really care about a lot of the stuff that happened this episode, so I might just skip through it. I might touch on it briefly. We'll see how I feel. But I watched this episode and I was just irritated because you can tell that so much of this stuff is like manufactured that it's actually irritating, because like I feel like you're insulting my intelligence just a little bit with this. Like, I feel like you think I'm dumb. You think we're all dumb, all of you guys who are watching, by manufacturing some of these connections. I'm like, now you know. Now you know that wasn't legit. That wasn't what they was thinking. But anyway, so Chris and Nicole, they go to their first wedding as a couple. That's what they're planning. And they're also trying to plan for their new apartment. We see Gina. She's at work, of course. She don't do nothing else. And it's funny because she's talking to her friend about all the travel that they have coming up. They're going to Arizona, they're going to Canada, whatever. And the interesting part about it is she can't get off her phone to talk to her friend. So Clint had mentioned that being a problem in their relationship. And it's actually a problem she has in real life. Like, I know Clint probably felt offended, but it's like, don't feel bad, boo, because that's who she is. She talking to her friend. She can't even look up from her phone for 2 seconds to have a conversation with her friend that is on camera. So that is clearly who she is as a human being. She don't pay attention to people. Whatever she got going on is way more important than anybody in front of her. Her mom comes and takes the dog. She's like, oh, I can leave him with Claire. And the mom's like, no. And so that happens. What else happened? Dom meets up with Clint because now that Clint has had such a good time with Hank, he's like, okay, I kind of want to get back to having a dog. I mean, it is the best. I have a dog. It is like the best feeling to have somebody that's always there and excited to see you, excited to have you around. So I get it, Clint, get the dog. And that's why when Mac was making fun of Dom, I'm like, people don't know how much joy dogs bring people. I'm not saying everybody's a perfect dog owner or everybody should have dogs, but I understand why people want dogs, because people like that feeling of someone who is genuinely happy. Some people get it with kids, but kids are a little bit too expensive for me. But, everybody has their thing. And she meets up with Clint and she gets to meet their dog. First of all, her dog is adorable, has one blue eye, one brown eye. And she tells Clint that she's thinking of hitting up Gil because, she thinks he's handsome. She watched his season, all this stuff. I'm like, y'all doing the same thing you did to Alyssa and Ryan. You're trying to make it seem like there's a connection between two people from two different seasons. And I'm not saying that I don't think that there are people from different seasons that would probably make a good match. But Dominique, who has no intentions of leaving Tennessee, and Gil, who lives in Houston, like, why would you even play in our face like this? Like, it don't make no sense. But anyways, Clinton tells her, encourages her to DM him and slide into DMs. And so she does that. And I'm happy for her. Whatever she has to do to fulfill her contractual obligation for the rest of this show, because she dipped out early, I support. Oh, girl. But yeah, so Jasmine is looking for a new apartment because she doesn't want to live from home. I think she had really, and it kind of makes me a little happy. Like, I think she had really believed in this process and hoped that, like, if I get married, I want to be able to move in with my man right away. Like, it sucked that this situation didn't work out for her, but I truly believe that Jasmine came into this situation really believing and really hoping that she was going to get a genuine connection and an actual marriage from this, because the fact that she didn't have no place to live, but she can afford to live by herself, so it seems, it means that she probably really thought, like, let me get rid of everything. If this works, that's it. I'm married. I got my man. And I also feel like that's why she's going so hard on this side. Like, after decision day, Jasmine's been like the baddest B word and, like, feeling herself. And I like that energy from her. But it's like, girl, where was this for the past 5 months that we've been suffering through this show? Where was this person? This person was not there. So it's kind of disappointing that we're seeing it now. So it only looks like a bitterness, when I know that if that's really who she is, she should have always, been that way. She tells Kirsten that she, resumed right where she was. She had people that she had put on pause because she thought like this situation was going to be real, and she's ready to unpause and run back into those situations. Kirsten, on the other hand, is like, she's not really ready to date. She's kind of just, chilling. Eris meets up with Mac, and honestly, I don't get the like for Mac. Like, I'm not saying I don't like him, but I don't know why people like him so much. Like, there's certain men on this show that no matter what they do, people are like, this person can do no wrong. And I feel like that's Mac for this season, and I don't feel like he's that great. Then he announces that he's moving back to Michigan for work. He accepted a job. Now, if Dom wasn't right about everything she said about him, y'all owe my girl Dom an apology. I'm not saying that Dom might not be immature. I'm not saying that Dom might be petty or negative or any of those things, but what Dom was correct, for sure. And she said it. She's like, he has no intentions of staying here. He just want to be on TV. And she knew it. And I knew it. And we all knew it, because he's over here like, oh, I'm an entrepreneur. I have a business. This and that, this and that. So why are you accepting a job right now? If you're an entrepreneur and that was your plan, to come sell weed in a state that apparently weed isn't even legal. So like, y'all was capping for him, but his sense wasn't there. It wasn't making it sense. He had no facts or nothing. Like, he was just talking and lying because he wanted to be on this show. And Dom clocked his lies from the beginning. And y'all were like, oh, she's so negative and immature. Like, okay, yeah, maybe, but she was also correct. And that I will stand on. So, you know what? Whatever. He says that he is planning a date with Gina, which it's funny because I don't think she likes him either, but whatever. What's it called? Shaq's grandma died. That was kind of sad. And it's sad because I didn't realize she was at the wedding like just 60 plus days ago. So it's really sad to see that she passed. Despite having my feelings against Shaq, I really feel bad for him in this situation because, it's never easy to lose a loved one. And I'm so glad that Kirsten, kind of humbled herself a little bit. And I know people are like, oh, it's death. But when there are people who are like, if you cross me, you've crossed me forever. So it don't matter if somebody die, if you're sick and dying, like, they don't care. So I'm glad that Kirsten wasn't that type of person and was kind enough to be like, no, let me call him. Like, because she had no intentions of ever talking to him again. But she understood that I may not like him, but this situation is more than me and him. And she called him, which I was like, okay, shout out to her for that, because it's just basic decency. What's it called? Nicole and Chris do a workout, and it's funny because later on we see them playing baseball and we see them throwing the football, and Chris is athletic, but during this little F45 workout, he looks like he has never done anything athletic in his life. So seeing him play baseball and doing the other stuff was very redeeming, because I was like, Chris, I was iffy about what was going on in that first scene. But after that, like, Nicole is clearly someone who lifts. Like, her athleticism is working out. And that's actually why it's funny about Clint's comment about, like, oh, I usually date more athletic girls. Like, there's difference between having coordination and being athletic versus actually lifting or running or whatever it is that you do, you know, at the gym. Like, the people who are gymnasts are different than people who do CrossFit. People who are weight trainers are different than CrossFit. People who do cardio are different than, you know, the weight trainers. And the people who play sports are even different than that. So, you know, I think his definition of athletic, I'm like, Gina could have easily been someone who played volleyball or softball or something and been athletic in that way. And maybe she doesn't, you know, walk on a treadmill or something. I don't know. Clint and Eris meet with Clint's friends, and they basically are talking about marriage, and Clint's like, oh my God, marriage is so hard and this and that. And they're like, you were married for 2 months, 60 days. Like, you are talking crazy, but you weren't even married that long. And it's so funny because oh God, I know a lot of people dislike Eris, but when Eris speaks, despite it being behind dead eyes and unemotional face and unexpressive face, he be saying good stuff. Like, he be saying the right thing. So I don't know if he's learned anything, but I do think that he is able to understand different things, and he's able to, you know, understand how things go, because he be talking like someone who's got his head on straight. Like, even when he talks about his marriage and everything that happened, he talks like someone who's got his head on straight, but he just doesn't behave like someone who does. Jasmine is going on her date with her little friend boy, and honestly, if they didn't show him, but had they shown him, I wouldn't be surprised if he looked like Eris. I don't know what it is, but that vibe, now I know why she found Eris to be so attractive, because this guy gave Eris vibes. But she, you know, on the date, she's asking him like, oh, do you think I'm attractive? And he's like, what? I can't believe you're asking me that. I mean, you don't know the trauma she just went through for the past 2 months of a man basically like, you're not attractive to me. That's tough. And honestly, I wouldn't have been able to deal with that. I would have dipped. Y'all would have called me immature, petty, whatever. You tell me I'm a 4, I am not wasting no time with you. People be like, oh, the love can grow. I'm a 4 to you. No, it can never happen. It can never happen. I would dip so fast. I would, as soon as I heard, one of those girls would have told me, and I would have been back home. I don't even want to have a conversation. I'm a 4 to a 4? That's below average, baby. She's stronger than me. She's better than me in every way possible, because I would have dipped. Because shame would have carried me that day. I would have just, whew, man, I can't even think about it. But the date seems to have gone well. You see them kissing. They don't, like I said, they never show the guy in full-fledged, but they, like, you know, they show the date. Kirsten goes to a career coach. I'm not sure why, if real estate's going so well, but she says she's trying to kind of switch over to different stuff. Nicole and Chris go furniture shopping. Chris is like, basically, Nicole don't know how to spend money, but it seems that Nicole makes good money, or at least either she's very financially irresponsible, or she makes enough money to do and deal with the things that she wants, because the stuff that she wants does not sound cheap. And to her, she's like, hey, if I have it, and I want it, then I should be able to buy it. And I feel like that's life. Like, I feel like Chris is too restrictive, and I understand that now they're thinking about the two of them and they need a budget and all that stuff. But I am a huge believer in, if that's what I want and I can afford it, not like, oh, that's what I want and I'm stretching myself. That's what I want and I can afford it. I don't see the big deal. I know it's a gold single individual couch and it seems silly, but it seems silly to you. It's not silly to Nicole. That's what she wants. And if she has the money to do it, I think you should get it. But I do understand that they are a married couple and they have to pick stuff for the both of them. But also, I would buy it because I liked it. Clint goes on a date with a redhead and he acknowledges how skinny she is and how, petite and basically she is. And she's, obviously a redhead. But what's crazy to me, the girl is pretty. But if that's Clint's type, I don't know. You weren't attracted to Gina, maybe because, yeah, she's way more curvy than that girl. But she wasn't like crazy bigger than this girl. Like, this girl was, yeah. But they play frisbee golf, whatever that is, and they're on the date. And it seems like everything's going well until Clint asks this girl what's her number one, like, turn off or whatever. And she says redheads. Ma'am, you too are a redhead. How? She's like, oh, when people see me and another redhead together, they think that we're siblings. If that, you telling me two black people get together, people think they siblings? There's, like, okay, don't get me wrong. I've seen two people get together that was both black, maybe a little light skinned, maybe had similar features, and I'm like, oh, they look like siblings. But that doesn't happen very often. There's no way I see two redheads together kissing, holding hands, being affectionate. I'm like, oh, they're siblings. Unless they actually look alike. Like, her and Clint don't even look similar. So I would never think that. But for her to say that, I don't know if they made her say that or if that's really how she felt, because, we don't know this girl. But I was just like, damn, Clint, you can't win for losing. So your friend gave you this girl and handed her to you, and she was like, yeah, my ick, redheads. Like, that's sad. But yeah, so it was just crazy. Mac and Gina meet up to do a little latte making class. I actually think that's really cool because I've always wanted to learn. I have a friend that has been doing little latte designs. I haven't seen the actual designs being made, but she tries. And that's the important part of this, right? The important part is trying. And it seems so cool. Like, you steam the milk, and I like watching it. I was like, oh yeah, that seems like it makes sense of what happens. But they go on their date, and immediately she's ragging on Clint. He's ragging on Dom. I was like, is that their connection? Ragging on their exes? Like, you guys are losers. I'm sorry. I can't imagine going on a date with somebody who I'm claiming to be attracted to, and the first conversation is me ragging on my ex. You're a loser, Gina. You two are a loser, Mac. I'm sorry. It's weird behavior. It's very, very weirdo behavior. Like, y'all should have been so excited to be in with each other. It didn't matter who Dom was. It didn't matter who Clint was. Y'all should have just been, But the truth is, I don't think they really like each other. She was like, oh, when we got to the airport, like, you were definitely the first person I noticed. Like, if that's your type, Gina, okay. He, in my opinion, does not look better than Clint. I don't know if my opinion matters, obviously, because me and Gina have different eyes. But, like, if you guys think that Mac is more attractive than Clint, let me know. Because I feel like he's not. I don't even think he's, like, I think he's whatever. He looks like a kid to me, actually, which is so crazy because he's like 35. But, like, not a kid in a good way where it's like, oh, you look youthful. Like, he actually looks like a child. Like, when I look at him, I'm reminded of, like, a teenager. Not that he looks like a teenager, because he looks his age, but his aura is of a teenage boy, or maybe like a young collegiate frat boy. That's all I get from Max, sorry. Um, and then he's like, oh, well, I actually am moving back to Michigan. And she's like, oh, well, you never know. I'm so into long distance dating. Like, I'm not opposed to it. Like, please, God, end this. Why are we following these people to this foolishness? Like, I need the reunion. I need the real hot goss on these people. Like, because, every time we get to reunion, people have watched the show, they have their feelings, they've seen all the stuff, so they be coming in hot to the reunion. So that is what I need. I need people's true feelings because they've watched the show, they've watched all the stuff, they've seen what the people have posted, and they coming in guns ablazing to the reunion. That's what I need, because honestly, what are we doing here? This is a waste. So their date, whatever, they fake whatever, who knows? The ladies all get together and the guys all get together. The ladies go flower picking. I don't know if they do that here where I live, but that actually looks like a very fun activity. The worst part about it seems like the bees, so I'm kind of like torn. Like, it looks beautiful and fun and like a good time, but I also hate bees and being outside, so I'm like, oh God, I'm torn. So much fun, so beautiful, so, but I don't know. So the girls get together, everybody but Gina, because obviously she's in Canada. And all the guys got together, obviously not Shaq because he's with his family. The women are talking, and Dom comes out and says, oh, I have a FaceTime with Gil. Please dead this. I thought that was just going to be a one-time thing and they would act like it never happened and we would move past it. But no, they're still going with this. And they're still going to try to make us believe that Dom is somewhat interested in Gil, who lives, I don't know how many states over Texas is from Tennessee. But like, come on now. Then the guys are together and they're talking, and Eris immediately is like, have you had sex, to Clint, because obviously he didn't have any during his time, and he was like, oh yeah, immediately. Like, we are 15 days post decision day. Both he and Eris have had sex with new people or old people, and like, it was weird because Eris is like a little creepy, because why do you need every little detail of the sex? Like, oh, were you doing this and were you doing that? Like, you're 39 years old. That's weird. Why do you need those details? Okay, ask him if he's had sex. Maybe they told you to do all that. But asking any additional details to a 41-year-old man about sex, y'all weird. Again, weirdo behavior. Very weird. Didn't need to happen. And Eris also had sex, and Jasmine even called it. She's like, oh, he on that hey big head time, I'm sure. And it's crazy because you can read men like Eris like a book. Like, everybody knew he was going to do that because that's who he was. And I'm actually surprised he didn't do it earlier. And he might have, but he just wasn't stupid like Ryan in his season. And he did it after instead of during, or did it without her finding out, whichever one. Then they were all like, is this going to be a thing? Because he had Duchess and Clint had Hank. And they were like, is this going to be a thing? You guys always have your ex's dogs. And, Clint was like, yeah, hopefully. And Eris is like, yeah, I would love to see Duchess more. Then they cut to Jasmine talking with the girls like, he never finna see that dog again. Which also goes to show that, like, production is trying so hard to make stories, plots, and drama. And it's like, sometimes you gotta let things naturally happen. Like, I know that they want something that's entertaining for us viewers, but that's not entertaining. Eris hanging out with their dog. Like, I don't care, Maybe they think we care. Maybe they think that's a plot line we care about. It's not. We don't care. Production. Or as Bernie Mac would say, America, we don't care. We don't care. We don't care. But yeah, then they talk to Gina. They call her and she mentions her date with Mac, and she mentions that, oh, Mac is moving back to Michigan. If Dom could have lost her eyes in the back of her head, she would have. She was laughing, rolling her eyes, because she knew, like, I said it. Y'all didn't believe me, but I said it. He's trash. He did exactly what I said he was going to do. And I knew it. And then it was funny because Chris was like, he was saying that, oh, like you would have stayed if the relationship had worked. I don't believe that for 1 second. I think Chris just likes to be an optimist because he's a nice, positive guy, but no. And like, honestly, this episode is just pointless. I don't know why they're dragging this out. I didn't even realize, somebody pointed it out to me, that this season started in January. Y'all, we're in June, and we haven't gotten the season finale. Like, what is going on here? Oh my God, like this has lasted far too long. Far too long. They need to end it. I do want the season finale. And you guys, I'm not gonna lie, I do want the season finale. But I feel all these filler episodes are kind of just getting, there's no point for them. I don't see the point. Like, yes, I'm recapping them for y'all, and I will always do that for y'all because I'm here for y'all. That's what I'm here for. But I just don't think, if you don't want to watch them, you could really just watch me. And I will be your entertainment. You don't have to go through 2 hours of them or an hour and a half in the after party. After party is actually good for some tea, so I advise y'all watch. But you don't have to watch that. You can just watch me weekly. And I will be here to tell you the important parts that you missed, which isn't too much. But we'll be back next episode. I think it's just one more episode and then a 2-part reunion, which, like I said, I'm excited for because I hope everybody comes with their little, with their guns, they shooting, they do everything that, they come at who they need to come at and whatever. That's what I'm excited for. So I will see you guys next time. Please like, comment, subscribe. Tell me what you guys are thinking about this season. If you're happy that it's almost over. Yeah, and I will see you guys for the next season finale, part 4. Is that what we call it? All right, bye.